going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about the Jets possibly signing Jaire Alexander after earlier on this morning. He was officially cut by the Green Bay Packers, which is kind of a gift for us Jets fans. But we'll also talk about Malachi Corley on the back half of today's show. We teased this on a previous show that maybe he could be a surprising cut candidate, so I really want to dive into that more and also show you guys an Aaron Glenn quote on Malachi Corley. But before we dive into it, if you guys could help us reach 7,000 subscribers here on YouTube, we are just 35 subs away. So shout out to all the real ones that have hit that subscribe button so far. But we just need 35 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button. So if you guys aren't subscribed just yet, go down there, hit that sub button for us. Free, easy way to help us out here at the Jets Report. All right, let's talk about Jaire Alexander. So it was a bit of a shocker that he was cut by the Packers early on this morning. We thought there was a possibility that he could get that contract restructured and he would remain in Green Bay, but that ended up not being the situation. Now, the biggest red flag with Jaire is no doubt the injury history. Now, he is still only 28 years old, so he's still in his athletic prime, but still, over the last 4 seasons, I mean, he has not played a lot of football. Back in 2021, he was dealing with a shoulder injury, only played 4 games there. Played all of 2022, which was great. 23, dealing with a shoulder injury yet again. Only played 7 games in this past season, dealing with a knee injury. He played in 7 games, so he was also in and out of the lineup in a couple of those games specifically. But when Jaire is out there, he is still a borderline top 20-ish corner, in my opinion, in the National Football League. Now, here is PFF grades over the past 4 seasons. You know, that 2020 season was special. He was one of the best corners in the league. We were talking about him being a top 3, top 5 guy after that season. But even the last 2 years, even though he's missed some time when he has been out there, he has been solid. 70.2 overall in 2023 and a 75.2 overall grade in 2024. But still, the thing is with Jaire, I mean, it has to be the injury history. Like, that's the biggest red flag. And if you're looking at the Jets, you know, how they're kind of loaded up right now in that secondary, would you really want Jaire to step in and maybe take some snaps away from an A.Z. Thomas, a Brandon Stevens, some of these younger players on the Jets roster? You know, it's definitely a conversation that Darren Mougey is having. But, you know, back in that 2022 season, Jaire, he was a borderline, like I was saying, top 3 corner in the National Football League. Played in 16 games that season. Had 56 tackles, 4 TFLs, 14 PBUs, and 5 interceptions. I always thought he was one of the stickiest corners in the league. He also had great games against the Minnesota Vikings that year, going up against Jefferson, you know, Jordan Addison, and that whole crew. But he really was a guy where it's like, hey, if he's on the left or right side of the field, you can pretty much just shut down that side of the field because he is taking that away. He was that dominant of a cornerback that season. But is he the same guy? I don't think so, but he's still a very, very productive player. Now, with where the Jets are sitting in their cornerback room, like, you obviously got Sauce Gardner. Don't need to say much about him. True CB1 that they got over there. But then Brandon Stevens will be him or A.Z. Thomas battling out for CB2. You still got Michael Carter, one of the better slot cornerbacks in the NFL at that nickel position. But, you know, if you would throw Jaire in at cornerback 2 and then just move down Brandon Stevens, A.Z. Thomas, yes, it would add, you know, more talent to this room. But I'm not sure if the Jets signing Jaire Alexander makes sense for either side. And we can start off with Jaire here real quick. Like, does he want to go play for the Jets, a team that is going to be hopefully fighting for the 7th seed in the AFC? I would assume he would want to go play for more of a contender where he has a chance to go get a Super Bowl ring. And then on the Jets side of things, do you want Jaire taking snaps away from an A.Z. Thomas, a very young, promising corner who's looked great so far in OTAs and rookie minicamp? And then also you take snaps away from Brandon Stevens, a guy you just paid big money to in free agency. So I think this is a move that sounds better on paper. Like, yes, of course I would want to go get Jaire Alexander. But if I was calling the shots for the New York Jets, I would probably pass on this. Yes, it would make you a better football team, but I also feel like maybe the long-term ramifications won't be, you know, as, you know, maybe impactful or, you know, as most people would think. So I'd probably be against signing Jaire Alexander, but I'll ask you this. What say you? Would you sign Jaire? Give me an S for sign. Give me a P for pass. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Curious to see what you guys have to say. I'm assuming this might be a 50-50 split down below in the comments, but what say you on this one? Would you sign Jaire Alexander? S for sign, P for pass. All right, let's talk about Malachi Corley here. Could he be getting cut from the Jets roster? Now, we teased this on a previous show, And the more I start diving into it, talking it out, I think there's a chance it could happen. So if we're just looking at the Jets wide receiver depth chart right here, this is what I have it slated in for right now. I'm going to give the nod to the veterans like Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard, but, a guy like Arian Smith or Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley, maybe one of those guys could end up starting. But as it stands right now, like if the Jets had a game tomorrow, I'm assuming this is how the depth chart would look. You got Wilson, Reynolds, Allen Lazard, and then you got depth behind each of those guys. But I think there are 4 locks to make this roster at the wide receiver spot. Garrett Wilson, for obvious reasons. Allen Lazard, I think him restructuring that contract, he clearly wants to be here. That's a veteran they can rely on. Same can be said about Josh Reynolds, what he does in the run blocking game. Clearly Aaron Glenn and specifically Darren Mougey having that connection with him from the Denver Broncos days. I think those 3 are locked. And then even Arian Smith. Like this is, Mougey's first wide receiver he drafted. He's looked great at OTAs, rookie minicamp. So I think he is for sure a lock. So most teams end up keeping 6 wide receivers. So then that leaves 2 spots open for 3 guys, in my opinion. This also isn't even including Pritchett, the UDFA, just assuming these 3 will have, the nod over those guys or over him. But I'm assuming Kyler Johnson's going to make the roster. Again, this was a guy Mougey sought out for during free agency, a reliable guy. And then, honestly, I think the 6 wide receiver spot is going to come down to Xavier Gibson and Malachi Corley. And the difference might be on special teams. Like if they still view Gibson, he can be a weapon in the punt return and kick return game, they'll probably lean him. But let's just say Arian Smith pops in both those categories and then he's the main returner. Maybe they decide to lean Corley in that spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But Glenn was actually talking about Corley after practice this week, saying this. Here's what I remember from Corley. His ability to get the ball in his hands and make something happen. And when you have a player like that, the first thing you think about is screens. You think about punt return, kick return. Think about things like that. Now we have to we have a ways to go to really try to figure out exactly where he's going to place him because he's been in and out. That's just what it is. But there is a plan for him, and we're going to make sure that we try to utilize him to do what he can do best. And we've seen that in college, and hopefully he gets well soon and we can get a chance to utilize his skill set. Now, I still think Corley should be fine. I would be shocked if he gets cut from the roster, but it's definitely that's something that is on the table. And if he does continue to miss practice with this undisclosed injury Glenn was talking about, it may be tough for him to make the roster. Now, if he was out there and he was making plays, this probably wouldn't even be a conversation. But this is just the life of the NFL. If you have a guy who's on the bubble of making a roster and he's just not practicing, even though, let's just say, the Jets front office would hypothetically want to lean Corley over Xavier Gibson, but if Gibson is out there practicing, getting those reps in, getting familiar with Justin Fields, maybe they just say, hey, Corley, even though the previous regime just spent a 3rd-round pick on you, but we want to go a different direction. I don't know. Just don't be shocked if, that August cut-down date comes along and the Jets are finalizing their 53-man roster and we don't see Malachi Corley on it. But I still think he'll make it, but you guys make the call. Will Malachi Corley make the Jets roster? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Please, please, please let me know your thoughts down below. Also, friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button on your way out. We appreciate all of the real ones who watch all of our videos at the Jets Report. And, hey, we're less than 40 subs away from 7K. So hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. As always, go Jets.